All right, Sergi, get ready. We're going deep, a deep dive into you, your soul, and its journey across, who knows, maybe multiple lifetimes. And wow, the sources you gave us, they paint a wild picture. We're talking ancient warriors, important spiritual figures,
Yeah.
maybe even a connection to Jesus and his disciples, even stuff before Earth. This is millennia, man, millennia.
It really is fascinating how these sources, they don't just list off possible past lives. They kind of hint at a bigger evolution for your soul.
Yeah.
Like we see themes pop up again and again, challenges, even these little glimpses of how all that might be shaping you today.
You know what really got me? That thing you mentioned about resisting being born?
Right.
Almost like your soul wasn't quite ready to come back. And then there's that detail about your parents in this life possibly being the same souls as your parents in a past life.
Whoa.
It's like stepping back into a familiar story, isn't it?
Totally. It really makes you wonder, right? Did you feel any sense of, I don't know, familiarity with them, a recognition that went beyond the usual parent-child thing? And what could that mean about why you're here in this lifetime? The lessons your souls may be here to learn.
Okay, so let's rewind. Way back. The sources describe you as this unusually sensitive kid, picking up on energies and emotions that other people, they just didn't seem to notice.
There's that story about the school trip where you chose to room with those, ostracized boys, the ones no one wanted to be near.
Right.
It really says a lot about you, your empathy, how you're drawn to people who are struggling.
And at 12, you got fascinated by UFOs, the paranormal.
Oh, interesting.
Like you were always searching for something more than the everyday, something hinting at a bigger reality.
That curiosity about the unseen world, it definitely keeps popping up.
Yeah.
And then at 18, bam, you had this life-changing experience, really set you on a spiritual path.
Huge.
You described being with a man who spoke to you without moving his lips, and the love from him, it was so intense it made your body tremble.
While you were asleep. Talk about an impactful wake-up call. It's like this encounter, the love, the unease that lingered. It ripped away the veil, showed you something way bigger than you'd ever imagined.
That unease is interesting, It's like this wasn't just some blissful vision. It was a call to action, like a challenge to explore yourself really deep down. From there, the sources describe your journey in 3 phases.
Okay.
Mastering the mind, energetic reality, and the search for self.
Okay, let's break those down. The first one,
Yeah.
mastering the mind. This starts during your university years.
Right.
You were studying business and administration, but surprise, you started failing some courses.
Yeah.
Seems like that shook you up, made you question your own intelligence.
It did. It sparked this desire in me to understand how my mind worked. I started doing mental exercises at night, pushing myself, trying to improve my thinking.
Right.
It was like I had to take control of my mental processes to master, like you said, the inner workings of my mind.
At the same time, you were drawn to Osho's teachings, a controversial spiritual figure, emphasizing that integration of the material and the spiritual, that idea of Zorba the Buddha, someone who fully embraces both the pleasures of the world and the pursuit of enlightenment.
That reflects a key theme in my journey, finding that balance between seemingly opposite forces. It's not about picking one over the other. It's about weaving them together.
And that leads us to the second phase.
Yeah.
Energetic reality.
Yes.
This is where things get mystical. You started experimenting with energy work, feeling it flow through your body, even having out-of-body experiences.
And maybe the most important event in this phase, my Kundalini awakening, it felt like a refreshing, minty surge spiraling up my spine.
Wow.
It's powerful, opens you up to a whole new level of awareness. You directly experience the energy of reality.
Sources say it left you in awe for hours.
Yes.
What was going through your mind?
I don't even know. It's incredible to think about all these experiences, from exploring Osho's teachings intellectually to the raw energy of the Kundalini awakening, how they built on each other, shaping my understanding of, everything.
Yeah. Then comes the third phase, the search for self,
Yeah.
that quest for who am I, that pops up in every spiritual tradition.
I spent so much time meditating, peeling back layers of myself, looking for my true essence. But during a retreat, I realized the search itself was a trap. The truth wasn't something to find. It was a state of being. I simply am.
You shifted from seeking to just being present. The answer wasn't in some distant future. It was right there in the moment. This newfound peace led you to India, not to find answers, but to celebrate the transformation you'd gone through.
Yes.
However, even with this inner peace, there were twists and turns, especially with Saki Sai Baba.
Right.
You initially resisted his teachings.
I did.
Saw him as just another mainstream guru. It's like you were looking for a more unique path, maybe subconsciously resisting the well-trodden spiritual route.
I think that's accurate.
But something changed during a channeling session back in Spain. The teacher, channeling Sai Baba, spoke directly to you, saying, "You are a very noble soul." That word noble, it seemed to soften your resistance, opened you up to a deeper connection.
It really did. And a few years later, I visited Sai Baba's ashram in India. This overwhelming energy pulled me in. I was ready to stay for the rest of my trip. But unpacking my bags, I heard a voice in my head. You cannot stay here. A total redirection.
Wow.
A complete change of plans.
In such a spiritually charged place, it must have been confusing feeling drawn there, but also pulled away.
It was. It took time to understand. It wasn't rejection, but redirection.
Right.
A push to find the teacher within, not rely on a guru.
This self-reliance theme, it's crucial.
Absolutely.
It suggests a path where external guidance is there, but the deepest wisdom comes from within you.
Yes.
It was around then that you started finding clues about your past lives, starting with that chance meeting in a New York bookstore.
Yes. I was browsing, and a man wearing a turban, he pointed to a book and said, "This book is very good." It was the Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. As I left, it slipped from my hands, fell open to a photo of Lahiri Mahasaya.
And you recognize the face.
Instantly. It was the same face I'd seen months before during an out-of-body experience.
Whoa, synchronicity, like the universe was orchestrating this, nudging you towards understanding yourself better.
It definitely felt like that. That encounter planted a seed, a connection to Yogananda that would later, blossom into something big.
You initially dismissed the book, felt like you'd already surpassed its teachings?
I did, but then meeting a healer back in Barcelona, it changed everything.
Oh, so?
I asked her about my past lives, and she just smiled and said, "You already know." She said to look within, and suddenly it hit me.